show hosted by BetRivers. I'm Kai McEwen. We are the three-man weave, but we are short one, as you can see, because Matthew Cox, aka Matty Moneylines, credit Joe Kidd. Yes, you get your credit, Mr. Kidd, is flying above the air right now, Jim, 30,000 feet to Hawaii, the islands. So it's just me and Jim. And we're going to have a good show for you guys, Jim, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, hey, the theme for Marquette's win over Illinois was audacity. And I'm insulted that Matt has the audacity to take vacation during the season. He thought he was going to the Maui Invitational. He did not change his plans when they changed their plans. So he's just going to be hanging out there on the island. I, meanwhile, will be actually at the real Maui Invitational, but that's not till Monday, Kai. So we got to figure out these other games first before we get to the old Maui invite.
That worked out pretty nicely for you, Jim. Feel bad for Matt, but hey, you'll take it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think they realized that having me there 2 years ago was great for the game.
Yes.
The Dayton, Kansas final was an all-timer. So they figured, I think it's time to bring it back to Jim. He wasn't going to make it to the island, so we'll bring it to him. And I'm happy for that.
Well, let's do takeaways, Jim. What'd you see yesterday?
VCU and Vandy suck.
Yeah.
How's that for a takeaway?
That's good.
One of the all-time Uggo game, 48-35 final. VCU had 22 turnovers and 17 made field goals, and they won by 13 on the road. It's just an absolutely abhorrent performance by both teams. Vandy was 2 for 25 from 3, which Kai, we watched them extend late against Texas State with some fireworks shooting. Could have used that cold, bricky shooting then, but you know what? It's good to have an ugly memoir like that. My last note in the game, I'm always combing KenPom, Kai, for the worst MVP performance. Yeah. And in this game, the MVP was Nick Kern, who played 13 minutes and was 3 of 4 from the field, had 8 points, 4 rebounds. That was the MVP of the game. Disgusting.
Yeah, Jim, that's a poor MVP. And 8% from 3, not great. Not great for Vanderbilt there.
Nope.
A couple takeaways from me. The Big West was a no-show last night. Long Beach lost in overtime to Utah Valley. UC Davis lost to Pepperdine. UC Riverside lost to San Diego. Do better, Big West. Do better. But Indiana St. John's was a fun watch. That was an awesome game. Credit to the Red Storm for coming back, keeping that one close. Credit to Indiana. Their fans were rocking. It's really nice to see a full boat in Assembly Hall again. That got me up.
Like that.
Yeah, it looks like a boat. And then finally, Butler, Jim. They're not it. Butler's not very good. Enzi went down with injury. That team is just plagued with injuries, but not a great squad.
Are they top 100? They were not. They were like 140th last year.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they're top 100 this year.
And we thought they'd be a lot better, but you can make an argument they're not. Yeah. Anyways.
They got Aaron Thompson back last night, and it didn't matter.
Didn't matter at all. Let's get started with the show. Do a little rundown here, guys, as we normally do. We're going to start off with Ohio State at Xavier, arguably the marquee matchup of the day, a little in-state rivalry here. Jim, I don't think you can bet on Xavier without Zach Fremantle. He means so much to this team. And I think EJ Liddell, who has been outrageously good this season, is just going to eat. I don't think the Muskies have an answer for him.
Yeah, this game's kind of a mash unit with no Fremantle, no Justice Suing. Just announced that he's out for an extended period of time with an abdominal injury for Ohio State. So he's for sure not playing. Super key, versatile forward there. Yeah, I don't know what to do with this. Xavier's got some solid depth. Like coming into the year, part of the dilemma with them was, all right, they've got 11 guys who think they should play. What do you do with them? The problem is they had 2 guys that have to play, and one of them's out. So Fremantle is one of the key guys. It's not like losing a fringe rotation piece. This is a star. Ohio State's been better lately after that opener against Akron was really, really shaky.
Yeah.
Just demolished a Bowling Green team that was missing 2 of its 3 best guards. Keynote there. But yeah, Liddell's great. They play off him really well. And Zed Key has been kind of a revelation inside for them. And that really helps get easy buckets because they need him.
Yeah, he's a stud. And Kyle Young is back as well from his little inner ear thing. So you have 3 legit forwards at Ohio State, and you have Fremantle out for Xavier. That doesn't seem very good to me, Jim. And we also have a transitive property game in this one, which is always fun to play here. Ohio State beat Niagara by 10. Xavier beat them by 3. Transitive property. Well, I guess the spread kind of makes sense because Xavier's home. That kind of works out. It's now -2.5, -3. So I'm staying away from this one. I did lean the Buckeyes. Travis Steele tends to get up for these games. We all remember the bar tab he put down after beating Cincy. maybe 2
multiple
years ago
times.
now. Maybe
He's done it twice. He's done it
multiple
twice.
last time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just show up with a wad of cash, slap it on the bar. Let's do this.
Yeah. So slightly into Ohio State there. Moving on, Marquette, Ole Miss, the Charleston Classic. Love all these MTEs right around Thanksgiving.
Day basketball,
awesome.
Kai. We've got day basketball for the next like 10 days. I think it's going to be
very,
wonderful.
very awesome. Marquette looking to follow up on an incredible win over Illinois. I was in the house. It was great. Ole Miss had the week off. A little bit of a rarity so far, I think, in college basketball this season. You don't see normally 6 or 7 days off. So they're prepared. Kermit Davis has time to prepare for this opponent. They've kind of ran through 2 bad teams. Jim, I was a little surprised about the number. I don't think Ole Miss is 3 to 4 points better on a neutral, but am I crazy?
Yeah, I don't think so either. I know that Marquette definitely benefited from a hype Fiserv Forum crowd. And that's especially for a team that builds off defensive pressure the way they do. Like, this is very much a throwback to Shaka's Havoc VCU teams. Like, they're playing mega fast on offense, 3rd in average possession length, and they're pressuring like crazy defensively. But I think they needed that energy. I'm worried about a bit of a letdown effort here. And that's a bummer because Mississippi is a team ripe to pressure. Freshman point guard Deshaun Ruffin is out with a fractured hand. So they don't really have a lead ball handler. And if Marquette's going to throw crazy pressure at them, if they're as inspired as they were against Illinois, they could force 20 turnovers again. But I don't know if on a kind of quiet, probably deadish neutral floor, if they're going to be able to bring that same kind of energy. Mm-hmm. All that said, I still like Marquette as an underdog. I think they're going to be feisty. Shaka is going to get them up as much as he can in a crowd like that. And Mississippi's been kind of shaky themselves. They're going to zone in the half court, Kai, and maybe that gives Marquette issues. But I don't like Mississippi shouldn't be over a field goal favored here. Like the value is definitely on Marquette at 3.5.
Well, Jim, I agree. In fact, it's my best bet.
Oh,
Marquette plus 3.5. That's my best bet. Yeah. The 1-2-2 3-quarter press that Shaka put on Illinois was scary to say the least. He can throw Morcell or Lewis or Joplin up there, and all those guys are scary long, athletic. That is tough to bring the ball up against. I think Marquette's going to scrap here, and I think cover.
People would have said like Illinois with Frazier and Curbelo, one of the top ball handling backcourts in the country, and they had 26 turnovers. And I know Curbelo's got some demons in terms of decision making, but 7 turnovers against that pressure, like against Jarkel Joyner and combo forwards, like they're basically playing wing, like Crowley and Luis Rodriguez at point guard. And I think the quick pressure can get underneath those guys and bother them. So I'm with you, Kai. I would definitely have a strong lean towards your best bet, Marquette.
Great. Marquette plus 3.5. Let's do it. Kermit, hope you were asleep last week. All right, next game. This was actually asked about in the chat, and we're getting to it right this second. The other game in the Charleston Classic.
Well, there's
one of the other games.
Yeah.
One of the other games. St. Bonaventure versus Boise State. Well, this spread, Jim, was wisely bet down from like a 7 opener, which was, really high. The Bonnies rock, but Boise can play. I don't think the UC Irvine loss is indicative of who this team really is. Irvine's a good team. Boise just kind of laid an egg, scored 0.77 points per possession. Not good. I leaned their way. The spread's gotten down really far, but with Oshuni, possibly limited, this definitely skews towards Boise in my mind.
Yeah, I wonder how much of the early market movement was because let's hope Shun is limited or not playing. This game starts in under an hour, and apparently he's dressed, looks like he's going to give it a go. But I still, especially on that opener, my goodness, 7 points for Boise was quite a bit. At this point, Boise is one of the most regression due teams in the entire country in terms of shooting. They've made 16% of their threes. That's 351st. And their opponents have made 45%, which ranks them 334th. So they are as far on each end of the spectrum as you can be. We're going to see some regression towards the middle there. Unfortunately, the Bonnies have only made 20% of their threes, Kai, but they've been not great as a favorite, really unconvincing against 2 MAC teams so far. I think I don't love where the line is currently at right now, but still a slight lean to how good and how healthy Shun will look. I mean, he could play for 10 minutes and then have to go retire to the bench for the rest of the game. So it is risky to take Bonaventure here. That's for sure.
I think he only played 13 minutes last game. I don't think he's quite himself.
He sat the whole second half.
Yeah, I like to quote size here. Boise's the 8th biggest team in the country. They only play one guy, Marcus Shaver, under 6'5". Like they are big across the board. It's a very tough matchup, especially if he's out. So I wouldn't be shocked if Boise won this game. I'm not Matty money lines, and the spread's pretty low to have such a bold call.
Yeah.
But I do think Boise's the right side here.
Yeah, under's pretty low. The one matchup concern for Boise is that they're like really rim reliant. Like I mentioned, their 3-point shooting, but they don't take that many. They love to drive. It's a lot of slashing wings. And so if Shun is healthy, like shot blocking the long arm of the law at the paint, in the paint, then that's a little bit of a concern for Boise. But if he's out, then it could be like a field day at the rim.
Yep. Next game, really gross one. And the next one in the Gavitt Tipoff Games, it's Rutgers at DePaul. Why would they choose this matchup? Why would they do this to us college basketball fans? Rutgers is 3-0, but they've dropped 6 spots in KenPom, and that's because they beat Lehigh by 3 in overtime. They beat Merrimack by 13, and they only scored 48 points, and they were down in the second half. And they beat NGIT by 14, and were down at half. In fact, Jim, Rutgers has trailed at half all 3 games this season against opponents that they should be rolling over. It's weird. It's basically the same team minus Jacob Young and Miles Johnson, but I think the key here, Jim, is Jacob Young was really important for this team. Their offense looks bleak right now.
Yeah, there's just not like a creator, and he was very erratic at times for sure. Like Jacob Young made some boneheaded plays, but they just needed somebody to make shit happen, whether it's good or bad. Like we just need some sort of verve, some sort of spice on the field or on the court. And he brought that. Baker and Mulcahy haven't really been able to do that. Rutgers hasn't shot the ball very well at all. That certainly doesn't help, but man, when this was like -1, Rutgers just needs to win at DePaul. I was certainly intrigued by that. It's been bet up a little bit. DePaul hasn't really been that great themselves. They were up 1 at halftime against Coppin State. They're up 3 at halftime against Central Michigan. They had 2 like mega turbo second halves, which is impressive because they're missing their 2 point guards, Jalen Terry and Ahmad Bynum. They're both out for eligibility concerns, waiting on the NCAA. But I am nervous about them against Rutgers. DePaul's basically gotten by completely dominating the glass. Like they are top 4 nationally in rebound rate on both ends.
Yeah,
I don't really think you can do that against Rutgers. Like Central Michigan's soft inside.
Yeah.
Coppin State is very soft inside. Rutgers is not. So I think Rutgers wins at 2.5, 3. It's a little dicey because it's going to be probably low scoring and Rutgers offense stinks, but I would still lean towards Scarlet Knights, Kai.
Yeah, I've said it multiple times here. I don't think McConnell or Mulcahy are very good. And I think there's a lot of assumptions they would really step up and be offensive weapons for Rutgers. It just hasn't happened, and they don't inspire much confidence. Jim, DePaul's kind of scrappy, man. JFL has been going off these first 2 games. Maybe Stubblefield's kind of figured it out with this team. As sick as it is, I kind of lean towards DePaul.
You are
at
sick.
The current number.
You're sick.
But I am staying away because I don't need to be betting on my Big East Chicago team.
Yeah, this is the first.
In fact, I can't because I'm in Illinois.
This is the first top 299 team that DePaul is playing. So I'm withholding judgment on Mr. Stubblefield and his squad until we see them today.
Yeah. All right, chat mob. What we got, Jim? Anything?
Yeah, a couple questions rolling in, so we will get to these. Stephen McGahee asked about UMass and Weber State, Kai. I really liked Weber at the -1, basically a toss-up who's going to win. I think they even opened as an underdog, but they're now -2. I'm a little less excited about it, -2.5 even. I like Weber. I think they're just way better and better coached. Like I think the talent level is even a hair higher than UMass because of some of the transfers they brought in with McEwen and Overton from Utah Valley. But UMass, it's going to be up and down. So this game could be kind of a shootout. Both teams have offensive weapons in the backcourt. At the number, I'm staying away, but lean to Weber.
Yeah, I think Weber is the better team, but -2.5, -3. I don't have much confidence in the Jim.
Yeah,
so
neutral site.
It's pretty hard to stay away from me. Yeah, right. Yeah, neutral site. Yeah,
if this was at the D, Kai.
Well, yeah, I'd be on Weber, of course.
Weber would be a slammy at this.
It's great home court. It's a great home court. All right,
all right. Next on the questions, another one of these tournament games. Brendan Bailey curious about Elon at Elon in West Virginia. Kai, West Virginia's been not great and didn't get away from Oakland. Barely covered against Pitt, who had no guards. Whereas Elon's got some young talent coming through the development stages right now. Anything you see here?
I like this Elon team in general. The spread's barely moved. Like, it's been 13-14 the entire time it's been out. I just think it's right. The spread's pretty dead on for me, Jim. Anything, I'd probably lean Elon because I love Schragi. He's a great coach, and I think they have the talent to kind of hang around, maybe make a comeback a little bit if they're down late. But really a stay away from me. I think the line's dead on.
Yeah, the one Elon thing that they've gotten better this year, Zach Irvin is healthy. He's a lights out shooter, same high school as Mac McClung. I think he might have broken McClung's scoring record. Don't hold me to that. No, that's not correct. Never mind.
I won't.
That's wrong. But he's been good this year after missing all of last season with an injury, and having an extra shooter really helps his team with the spacing that they kind of struggled with last year. All right. Next up, Austin Rayleigh, curious about one that you have some interest in, Kai. Tennessee Tech and UNC Asheville, also a neutral site game here on the extra board. What are you thinking?
So I'm worried a little bit about Asheville because of Claiborne's injury. He is very important for that team. He is still out, I believe. However, the spread was low enough. I'm trying to see what the updated one is right now. The spread was low enough, the opener and a little bit afterwards, to where I lean towards Asheville. But I know Maddie likes Tennessee Tech a lot this year. He thinks they're a lot better than they were last season.
It really feisty with Chattanooga. Yep, 2 days ago, I think. I'd
probably recommend to stay away on that game. I had an early lean to Asheville, but I'm not confident in it at all.
Yeah, it was the same way, Kai. I can't touch Asheville without Claiborne right now. They're getting absolutely demolished on the glass. And Tennessee Tech's been pretty powerful on the glass. Their offensive rebounding has been really a part of their success so far. So I am staying away as well. We got a couple more rolling in here. I'll hit one or two, and then we can save the rest for the end. Julian Cesario asking about Southeast Louisiana, the other SLU, CLA, headed to SMU, Kai. Michael Weathers, I think, is out for this one for SMU, missing a key guard there. I kind of like the CLA roster. They've got some big wings, some playmakers. I don't know if I like fading Kendrick Davis as a big favorite. SMU's been awesome at home so far.
And they proved it by just demolishing Northwestern State, who has played tough with power teams already this season. They've been a feisty dog, and SMU just kind of shrugged them off, gave them the hand wave, beat them by like 40. CLA, for my money, SLU, is the second best team in the Southland. They definitely have some talent. I'm just not looking to bet against SMU right now as a big favorite. They can just go to the next level and blow teams out with the way they run.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, so we've got a couple more, Kai, but I'll start logging them for the end. Let's move back into the outline.
Another gross game is how we're going to start it off. Back in the Charleston Classic, Clemson versus Temple, a game that's going to be filled with defense, probably a lot of missed shots. Jim, I'm just kind of tired of doubting Brad Brownell and Clemson. They just win ball games. His defenses are good. Even without Amir Sims, they're still tough this season. This game's going to be slow, ugly. Temple looked awful against Maryland Eastern Shore to kick off the year, even though they almost covered eventually. And they were getting stomped by USC before a furious comeback, miracle cover for those who were on Temple that game. That was me as well. I got lucky.
Right. We had a lucky one there. Let's
we
make sure we acknowledge it.
Like the first one.
First and only. Yep.
Yeah. I do think Clemson has a strength and size advantage with PJ Hall. He's been really good this year. And I actually kind of like their guards, Dawes, Collins, Honor, all pretty solid. The spread's just a little bit too high for me. What do you think?
I have no real take on the spread. I think it's about right. I don't really trust either team in this situation. Like Clemson as a favorite makes me nervous. They were unconvincing against Presbyterian, to say the least, in the opener. And then Temple, man, I don't feel great about them, despite that they lost by 5. That is not an all-time misleading final score, but it was misleading. We'll put it that way. I like the under here, Kai. It's one of my best bets. Clemson, Temple under nice. 132.5, I believe was the last number I saw on BetRivers. I think it's going to be gross. I know it's been bet down. It opened at 135. That's okay with me. I think the length of Temple and the backcourt is going to bother Honor and Dawes, who are both smallish. And then the just overall defensive fortitude of a Brad Brownell team will help on the other end, because Temple is very penetration reliant. They want to draw fouls, get to the free throw line. I think Clemson can defer that and not put them on the line repeatedly. So under 132.5, one of my best bets. There's a second one coming though.
Yeah, I like that. USC, by the way, was up 23 points with 16 minutes to go in that game. So yeah, it was a bit of a comeback there for Temple.
Harry R says Aaron McKee is suiting up. So we're he might be the best guard if they do. And him. You need him.
Guy could play. All right, Penn, Utah State. This one is, what tournament is this? I'm blanking, Jim. The Myrtle Beach, right?
Oh, so I had it in the outline. You should have just followed my notes.
That's on me. Me.
Yeah. Myrtle Beach Invitational. It'll be the game after New Mexico State Davidson.
Yes. This one starts pretty soon, actually. Can Penn bounce back? That's my takeaway or start off here, kickoff point. Took hard losses to Florida State and George Mason. Didn't look great against Bucknell, even though they won, even though they covered. They pounded Lafayette. So maybe a turning point. They're a little bit healthier now. Which way do you lean in this game?
I lean towards Penn. This number was big when it opened. 9.5. Utah State needed to win by double digits. That was surprising to me. It's been bet down to 7.5. You mentioned healthier. Max Martz played last game, sophomore. He started basically his entire freshman year for Penn. Like, they don't have a lot of versatility, like big wing type guys, the combo forward types. And he is that. So it's huge to get him back. He only played 13 minutes against Lafayette, but like you said, it was a laugher. So hopefully he's ready for a bigger minutes load in this one. Utah State looked really good against Richmond. Unfortunately, I've watched most of that game and their offensive execution was incredible. And the problem, like, they lost at home to UC Davis, but that was because like a lot of ball pressure. And I think it just took them out of rhythm, and Penn's not going to do that. Like, they're not going to be getting in their shorts in the backcourt. So I'm a little bit worried that Utah State gets comfortable and their execution takes over in this one. But that said, I'm still leaning towards Penn, and I'm not the only one, Kai.
That's right, because Matthew Cox sent in a best bet from the sky to us, and he's on Penn plus 7.5 at BetRivers currently right now. Yeah, Jim, he believes in the Ivy. He believes in the Quakers. That's Matt's best bet. Penn can shoot. I'll say that. If they hit threes, they could hang around. They're 44th in the country in rate, 38th in percentage from downtown. So hopefully they get some good looks against Utah State.
For the record,
it is a lot of points.
Maddie Moneyline did not mention sprinkling.
He did not mention sprinkling. So can't endorse that.
Whether you're going to do it or not, that's up to you, folks. But Maddie Moneylines did not explicitly say so.
Keep Justin Bean off the boards, Penn. That is your one and only goal. Yep. And it's going to be hard to do. All right. That's Matt's best bet. Moving on. Arizona State at San Diego State. Is Arizona State healthy, Jim? It doesn't seem like they ever are. Marcus Bagley's status is huge for this game. And the spread's also huge. 8.5. Just looking at that number seems eye-popping. If you just look at these two teams by name, then you realize, though, San Diego State has been by far the better team over the last couple of years. And if ASU's without Bagley, they're going to have a lot of trouble scoring in this game. Yeah,
I mean, we saw it last year in this matchup. San Diego State went to Tempe and basically dismantled Arizona State. The pack line forces jump shots, and Arizona State is like, hey, we want to get downhill and drive. Like, we are all dribble penetration, and that just does not work against a super disciplined pack line that San Diego State rolls out there. So yeah, the matchup definitely scares me. And if Bagley's out, San Diego State -8 intrigues me. He played, I think, 9 minutes last game, and afterwards Hurley basically said, yeah, we're concerned. He keeps having setbacks with this. We're not really sure what his status will be, but the fact that Hurley straight up said concerned is concerning to me. So if he's out, I think that really is a big needle mover in this particular matchup. And I would lean towards that home court advantage, Viejas, the show, and that -8.
I will say this. I don't think Arizona State can stop anybody, like full period there, but they are better at stopping the paint than they are protecting the perimeter. And San Diego State's not really looking to shoot. I don't know if Matt Bradley's hit a three all season. He doesn't really look to shoot them. He's kind of a bowling ball, a mid-range assassin.
Kind of. That's being kind.
Kind of a bowling ball. And Mensah is a great player on the block too for San Diego State. So I don't know. If Bagley's in the lineup, I'm leaning towards ASU, Jim. If he's out, I'm staying far away with a lean towards the Aztecs.
Yeah. If he's in there, I think the number's pretty close to correct. But I do think he's worth like 2 to 3 points in this matchup. So we'll be keeping a close eye on that one.
And finally, our last game on the rundown, it's UAB at South Carolina. Hilarious. UAB is favored by 2.5 at South Carolina. My, how the programs are currently sitting. SEC team is a dog. at home. But it's
yeah,
deserved.
I can't believe a SEC team would be a home dog to UAB, Kai. Certainly not our Mizzou Tigers. They would never do that.
Never. The Blazers have blazed the competition so far, Jim. But it's obviously their toughest test tonight. And South Carolina did beat Western Kentucky after they lost to Princeton. So they're not like totally inept. I think Keyshawn Bryant is still out with his suspension.
Yep.
This might be his last game. He's out, but that's neither here nor there.
I think it's
Jim,
6.
what do you think?
I think it's 6. So he's out a couple
6.
more.
Oh, 6 games. Okay.
Yeah. Unless that counts exhibitions. I'm not entirely positive there, but he's out today. That's what matters. UAB just played a non-D1 team, and Jordan Walker and Tavin Lovin both did not play. But it sounds like it was just pure rest. This team is super deep. So it kind of made sense. Like just rotate minutes, get some other guys some clock out there in that one. I like UAB here, Kai. It is my other best bet. The Blazers minus 2.5. They just throw waves of pressure at you, and because they've got so much depth, it just never stops. And South Carolina has ball control issues in the backcourt. I think they're going to turn it over quite a bit here. In a weird way, I think UAB will enjoy that this is not neutral and this is like at South Carolina, so you can kind of feed off the deflation of the crowd, almost in like a similar way to you feed off your own home crowd. I think that they will thrive on that. South Carolina has been really transition reliant lately, like top 10 in pace under Frank Martin.
Crazy fast lately.
And UAB's like zones pressure, like they kind of slow you down. It's weird. They will throw 1-2-2 that's soft-ish, and then once you're in the half court, they trap. So they slow you down, and then once you get over, then they really bring the pressure. And I think South Carolina is going to have real trouble with that. Like I said, second best bet of the day, UAB minus 2.5.
Yeah, South Carolina's offense is tragic. I think they're going to turn the ball over. UAB has awesome guards. They have like 8 of them. They can just cycle through. I do think the Gamecocks can be bothered by the pressure. Very up and down. Yeah, Frank Martin, man, I don't know. He's like stepped on the gas pedal with like a cement shoe or something in the last couple of years. It's crazy how fast they've been playing. So yeah, I agree. UAB is a lean for me as well, Jim. I support your best bet. All right, that's it for the rundown. Let's go to the chat to finish off the show, and then we'll remind everyone of our best bets because we've already said them. Jim, go for it.
Well, first, Kai, I have a general question. I don't have the field memorized off the top of my head, so I'm trying to pull it up right now. Kedrick Washington asked, who is winning the battle for Atlantis? I think this is last year's field. For some reason, this is not like immediately easy to find. So I'm going to let you ruminate on that one. And I will find it while we discuss the next game.
Yeah.
Larry Gibson and HRDL Savage asked about Nevada at San Francisco, Kai, the Dons. Nevada's been terrible. They got wiped off the floor last game by Santa Clara. They lost at home to San Diego. This is their third straight WCC game. Are they going to go for the sweep, the 0-3 sweep here? The Dons are minus 7.5, minus 8-ish. It's bounced around a little bit.
Yeah, I think San Francisco's going to win the game. Now, talking spread, 7 points seems like a lot. It hasn't bet down. Like it was a 9-ish. That was very high to me. I like Nevada at that number because I don't believe that this bad, even though they've started off pretty rocky. San Fran's awesome. The Dons are for real. I definitely think they're going to win. 7 points. I'm still leaning a little bit towards Nevada there, honestly.
Yeah, I am too. I just like maybe this is a better situation for Nevada where they're not. They're kind of like down and out. No expectations, underdog. Perhaps this is where they play up. This is kind of how they thrived last year when they got to be spoiler at the end of the season for Colorado State. They had a buzzer beater and I think a couple others. So maybe that situation sets up better for them. But I do fear San Francisco. I mean, they're top 30 in KenPom. They started really high and they've maintained it because of their performance. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, that Samford game was a bummer for me, Kai, where the visiting Samford did not score for the final 5.5 minutes, and
that's wild.
Did not cover plus 20.5 with the final basket of the game. It was a bummer, but
I had the over in that game,
in
Jim too. So I kind of feel your pain on that one.
Yeah. So definitely a lean to Nevada, but not a strong recommendation to get in the way of San Francisco right now. Mm-hmm. All right, I think I have the Battle for Atlantis field up, Kai.
Oh, I got it too, Jim. Yeah.
All right, good. So do you have a lean and who you think wins that?
Gosh, who wins it? Baylor. Boom, done.
Wow. All right. Very quick on the draw there.
They're by far the best team.
I'm going UConn.
Ooh, wow. You agree with Douster?
I never agree with Douster. He's still somehow wrong. I don't really care that he's also picking the same team as me. They're going to do it differently than he expects. So he continues to be wrong.
Okay.
All right. Other chat question. Field 68 Douster also wants to know if Missouri is good yet, Kai. The answer is not until they hire Kim English.
No, and I don't know if they're going to cover against Northern Illinois. So there you go.
Yeah, I would say unlikely. I hope we finally get a Mizzou under, because I keep banging my head against the wall betting it, but we'll see if that actually comes around. And then Joe Kidd, Kai, asked about one that I know we liked before the line moved. We'll see how we feel now. FIU and Ball State on a neutral floor in St. Petersburg. I still kind of like FIU. I just think this Ball State, that collapse. I mean, it does matter that they got up huge against Omaha, but it was a mega shorthanded Omaha team. And I think the collapse actually says more about them. And I still think FIU is just a little undervalued right now.
I agree. Eric Lovett is the name you need to know for FIU. He's arguably their best player. He might be out for this game. And that is what's keeping me a little bit scared of betting FIU, but the market is on FIU right now because Ball State is pathetic. So I do lean towards FIU and praying that Lovett is in the game.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's similar to UAB, where it was like a non-D1. Let's give him some rest. I know he's been banged up in his career before, so hopefully it's just like a sit out, take this game, and be ready to go for the Ball State one. Still an FIU lean. All right, Kai, I believe that's all the games that have come through. I apologize, Chad, if I have missed anything here.
Florida, Milwaukee.
Ooh, this one's interesting. I would definitely be on Florida if Latham and Tafari Sims are out.
Yep.
So starting point guard for Milwaukee, Jordan Latham missed the Eastern Kentucky game. They struggled with turnovers. Florida's ball pressure was crazy against Florida State. I think that it's not really like a true pressing team, but they make you uncomfortable. And if you don't have a facilitator like Latham, then I think Milwaukee will really struggle even with PBJ.
Yep, I agree. I lean towards Florida, especially if Latham's out.
I saw a mention of a Southern Utah, UAB, Wyoming round robin. Southern Utah headed to Cal. Wyoming headed to Washington. He's fading the crappy Power 6 teams. I don't hate it. I liked Washington at 3. It's down to 1, which is crazy. I mean, like the market has been like, we fully believe that Wyoming is better than Washington. I'm with them. Yeah. And then Southern Utah, Kai at Cal. That line felt about right, but I would not be at all surprised to see Southern Utah win.
Feels right. Southern Utah's gotten off to a rocky start. They don't look very good right now, but they have the exact same team as last year, so it's a little strange.
Yep. Kai, is Kansas winning by 40 today?
I hope not. I have a small play on Stony Brook, so I hope they can keep it close.
Yep. I think this is the last game that Jalen Wilson is out, I believe. Yep. So that certainly helps.
Wouldn't be shocked, honestly, but
yeah. All right. That is it for chat. Kai, should we recap best bets?
Let's do it. Mine was Marquette plus 3.5, and Maddie from the Sky was Penn plus 7.5. Jim, remind us of your 2.
I had UAB minus 2.5 at South Carolina and Clemson Temple under 132.5. And I believe that's the Charleston Classic. Which one is it? It is. Yeah. Charleston Classic. Mm-hmm. Day ball. Hopefully it's sluggish. So that is it. I believe that's it, Kai. We didn't have any big money line calls today, unfortunately. And that's because we're lacking Matty money lines. Yeah.
That's right.
We don't have our go-to guy there, but
it
was still a good show. We managed, Kai. We did it.
I think we did okay, Jim. Nice little give and go. I think Matt's back tomorrow, guys. And we are too at noon Central on this same channel, Field of 68 Best Bets. Subscribe. Please hit the like button. If we get 100 likes, Matt's going to do a hula dance in a grass skirt from Hawaii.
Hit that like button.
Very exciting.
Hit it.
Again, we're presented by BetRivers.
I think that caveat should count the entire time he's in Maui.
Entire time he's in Hawaii. That's correct. All right. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you tomorrow at 12 Central.